Hey, what's up, you guys?
Yes.
Good job. First try.
Hey.
Hello to all my beautiful subscribers. This is Claire, the host of the Claire and Fam system. I am 24 and my pronouns are she, her. And this is my husband, Liam.
Hey, how's it going? Liam here, age 24 still, for a few more days, I suppose. He, him pronouns, please, or they, them. Either one's good with me.
We are back with another video, but part 2 of the All or Nothing, our queer couples video about support and partnership. And part 1 is on Liam's channel.
Hey.
And you can go see that right here. Or it might be right over there. And we'll link it in the description box. Please go subscribe, obviously. Like, comment, let him know that you're from my channel.
Yeah.
If you're watching this first. It doesn't really matter what order you watch them in.
Yeah, either way, just send hearts.
But head over. He's super handsome. He covers a ton of topics on his channel. And I'll just let you go figure that out for yourself. What is he covering and who is Liam, if you don't know?
I don't know.
We are in nature, if you can't tell by the beautiful background. Nadia's very close because I'm filming and she hates bugs, so if I get distracted, it's probably her. And just leave her alone. As my beautiful subscribers already know, and if you don't, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Click.
Go for it, I'll wait.
Me too.
You look really good today. Please hit that subscribe button. And if you've already hit that, you can hit the little bell. If you've already done that, leave us a comment. We're giving you the time. There's no excuse not to.
Okay, ready? Countdown. 5,
4,
3.
3, 2, 1. Anyway, as I was saying, like my subscribers know, I've been diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder, which was formerly known as multiple personality disorder. If you don't know what that is, I've got some videos on my channel explaining, and I've got a couple videos from different alternate personalities in my system, so you get to know them a little bit better as you figure out what the diagnosis really means for me. Due to so much pain and trauma, memory loss, and just poor parenting, I developed some pretty poor coping mechanisms and emotion regulation, and I am in dialectic behavioral therapy for that. DBT therapy, super helpful for people with really high emotional sensitivity, but people that want to work on becoming a little bit stronger in their emotion regulation.
Can I just say that she is doing an amazing job. She's always been an A student. And
yeah, it's kind of like a class, so you have to learn these techniques, practice them, just like homework. It doesn't work overnight, and we're going to go into detail about some of the exact coping mechanisms I use for a very triggering part of a relationship for me, which is sex. There is an alter in our system that is especially triggered in romantic relationships. They have not made an introductory video yet, but their name is Nina. We're going to explain a little bit the struggles that she deals with and why she was even formed in the first place in this video. Nina is an alter in my system who is especially triggered in romantic relationships. She is an alter who holds sexual trauma. Sometimes these alters are called sexual alters, but I believe there's so much more to them.
That was a bug.
So much more to them than just that. But because of the sexual trauma she holds, she experiences a hypersexual personality.
yeah, I've always known Nina from the beginning. I just didn't know she was an alter. Like most of the alters that I've met, they come out when they feel comfortable to, or when they feel like they should. Nina's pretty bold. She's not afraid to get hurt, so she came a lot out in the beginning
Of our relationship, like about a year and a half ago?
Yeah, just to protect, I'm sure, to make sure that I was good enough for Claire and everyone else to see. Nina's kind of a protector in her own way, I would say.
That's true. I agree. I would say that I learned in therapy, at least, everybody is born on a spectrum. Basically, everything in your life is a spectrum. Your gender is a spectrum, your sexuality is a spectrum, and lastly, your emotional vulnerability, naturally, biologically, is on a spectrum. I happen to be on the very volatile or very emotional side, naturally. Also, I went through many traumas before the age of 5 and ended up being put up for adoption and adopted. And I was adopted into a family that I'm realizing now wasn't as evil as I think they were. You might argue.
I think they are,
But I think they also were just biologically on the other side of emotional vulnerability. They did not feel emotions or show emotions as strongly as I did, and being emotional, especially sad, was not acceptable. Living in a super invalidating environment can also push people that were already on a very volatile edge of the spectrum even farther away, because they don't feel like anyone really knows what's going on, the true pain that emotion can cause. I like to explain it as if my heart or my brain have brittle bone disease, and words hurt. It's absolutely true. It hurts. Looks hurt. Vibes hurt. And you're very emotionally intuitive. You get a lot of vibes from people that they don't even know they're giving off, like this one.
Yes. So I have to be conscious of things that I weren't before.
Like what?
Just body language and certain affirming language, things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I was in a very long-term relationship before I found my soulmate, and I was best friends with that person, but the romantic relationship part was extremely hard for me, but even harder for Nina, because she did not know exactly why she was coming out and not experiencing the validation she truly needed to survive. And I just remember having panic attacks or triggers at the time where I would just lay there in an intimate moment, and no matter what my partner said, their body language was not right for me. Their verbal language was not right for me. And I would remember sitting there and feeling like I'd gotten kicked out from the body and I was falling down into ground or the bed and just spiraling. Every altar in my head was affirming, like, you aren't loved, no one wants to be intimate with you, your body isn't the type of body that people desire. So many negative, horrible things that I thought would stop because I found my soulmate. But unfortunately, that's not how these types of things work, because once your brain has already experienced that kind of trauma, it creates what's called a pathway, a neural pathway, to whenever you see somebody while you're being intimate, and let's say Nina comes out, they get a slight trigger or a slight vibe, and that emotional sensitivity feels that, and that's what causes that complete break. It's to the point where I might get upset at Liam and not realize he is who he is. I think it will be a past abuser or a past partner who didn't validate me or put me through traumatic situations because I wanted to be intimate. It didn't really seem fair. And now it still doesn't seem fair. So we have had to come up with some techniques. And that's okay, because working on this type of stuff, especially if you have sexual trauma, is how a relationship is going to work. It's not just going to go away like I thought, but it becomes way easier. And we'll tell you exactly why it is easier for us.
Yes. So, first thing we do to combat triggers is talk. Talk. I don't think we had a few nervous moments, but we had a lot of time to communicate before moving forward in every situation.
So before we even started dating, I think it was really important for me to just share that I was sexually vulnerable, and that I had a hypersexual part of my personality. I did not realize they were an alter yet, but I knew of their existence, and I knew of how volatile their triggers were, and I thought it was very, very, there's so many bugs. Very, very important to explain that to Liam before I ever even committed to being with him. And that was really hard. I was in such a vulnerable place. I think it was for the better, because then the first time they ever saw me triggered, it wasn't comfortable, but I think they knew what was happening.
Completely. I mean, being transgender, I experienced a lot of sensitivity around the subject too. So I think we both needed that communication in order to even get to a point in the relationship where we could start a relationship that was anything past physical. Okay, number 2, second way we combat triggers is being really honest about how we're feeling and knowing when to tell the other person it's time to stop. A lot in the beginning of our relationship, we actually watched a lot of videos and stuff like that, trying to figure out how to make it work best between us, having so many triggers and around the subject. And we found one that was really helpful. That is the concept of red, yellow, green, like a stoplight. And red means stop, we need to just take a break right now. Yellow is like proceed with caution, and green means you got the go ahead. In a situation where one of us or the other is feeling uncomfortable, we can ask the other person red, yellow, green, or you can even just say red, yellow, or green.
One really helpful tip, I think it was from Ash Hardell, who we can link below, is just that it can be really, really hard to have a safe word and remember it when you're triggered. So red, yellow, green really, really helps. And also, if talking and communicating during being intimate isn't really your thing, you can also print out, like, let's say, a replica of what your body might look like, and color all the areas that are reds, which means off limits to the partner. Yellow, which means if it's good, we'll see how it goes. And then green is like free for you, right? And so your partner already has these set of standards, and we don't think that that's weird at all, especially if you're someone with sexual trauma. This is taking care of yourself and taking care of your relationship.
And honestly, anybody for that point, because it's just consent, I think.
Absolutely.
And consent is a lot more than just yes or no. It's reading, your partner's body language and knowing how they're feeling. And if you're not sure, asking
For sure. We stress that a lot. And this tool really, really helps in any situation with a partner or a friend, the stop tool. The hardest part for me is willfulness, just giving up the fight or giving up the protective aspects of the behavior that Nina displays, because all she is doing is trying to protect. So when I ask her to stop, it can almost feel very invalidating to her, and it might to you too. But I stress, try it at least 3 times. And if it hasn't helped you, come talk to me. Okay, so way number 3 that we combat triggers is not combating them. Because the best meditators, the best people at relationships, everybody fails sometimes, and that is okay. I fail quite often, especially if Nina is out, especially if she's triggered, because for so long that's all she was a sexual alter and someone that took all the trauma. I get a lot of rage when I feel ugly because I put a lot of work into feeling beautiful and desirable and being a good wife, but when you're told as a child, no man will love you, because you're so ugly and you're so horrible. And then you get mad and you're triggered during intimacy, you really, really believe that.
Sorry, Toki's getting started.
So she wants to be. She doesn't like when I don't feel good. She kind of felt those bad memories come up. Yeah. So we did create.
Oh yes, something to help us when there is no other option, and
We call them our.
Can't follow it. It's our safety plans. And they are just something that we both came up with on our own. That's just a list of step by step what we're gonna do in a situation where we feel like we're no longer in control of the situation, and
we're either a threat to ourselves or each other. We don't like to be apart very often, especially because of my disorder and switching out and trauma. It can really confuse me and put me in a really vulnerable state. However, safety plans, they are separate. So a little bit into mine would be, first thing is to take a stop, do the stop skill. Then I need alone time, and we did live in an apartment, so it's really hard to get some alone time. So I'd often go for a small walk, or Liam would take a small walk so that I could have some alone time. Then I would often write down some feelings and try and figure out the root problem. In DBT, we call this a chain link analysis. So you can start at the beginning, you can start at the end, wherever you feel like your emotion got really, really volatile, and take baby steps back and really figure out what happened. And I used to blame Liam, like, you made a face at me, or you weren't saying something validating, or you just don't like me, you hate me, that must be why you don't want to be intimate. And they would look so dumbfounded, like, I completely wanted to be intimate. When I did my chain link analysis, it would always be like a memory that flashed by, or an insecurity that I heard in my head, or an alter that convinced me I wasn't being loved as a way of protecting me. We're working on that one. And then, so that's a little bit about mine. And when I feel like my heart rate is low enough and the thoughts stop racing, it might take 5 minutes. Sometimes it takes a couple hours. Then I will come back. Liam's plan's a little bit different.
Yeah, mine is more just to help calm anxiety. Usually mine aren't as much voices. It's my heart will get escalated and I need to de-escalate it so I can get back to a position. There's a plane passing by. Sorry. So I can get in a better position to support and analyze the situation with wise mind, rather than emotional mind. So for me, I need some fresh air. Usually helps me calm down. If I can't get my thoughts to stop racing, I'll sprint down the block and then find something to distract the mind for a moment, like counting cars or stars or trees or leaves or specks of grass until I can get back to a point of ground. And then by the time I get back to Claire, she's usually grounded as well.
And then we can kind of tell each other our chain link analysis, where did it go wrong with either one. And what we do is like a self-evaluation, and we talk it out, and we're both just validating. If he told me where it went wrong for me was this, I accept and I say okay, and I will change that behavior because this did not work. No matter how bad I don't want to change that behavior, it's what it has to be, and vice versa. If I say, look, I know you do love me, but you have to say it 8 times. Like, I think I need to hear it 8 times. What's amazing about Liam is he doesn't feel whipped or controlled or weird about actually doing that for me. And then it's usually like once he does it once, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, you do love me. And I never make him do it again.
That's usually, I think one of the most important points is just validation. Validation that everything they're feeling is rational and completely okay to feel. I mean, once you do that, you can set aside the feelings that are really truly there and the ones that just needed support
Because
and love.
at the end of the day, a long-term romantic relationship has long-term goals. And triggers are very, very short-term goals of keeping you alive. If you're experiencing rage, someone, something in you is feeling threatened, and I definitely encourage you to do some link analysis and figure what that little thing is. And you don't have to change it, and you don't have to judge yourself for it, but I highly recommend communicating with your partner about it. You guys, let us know what you think. We can come up with some more specific examples and specific coping mechanisms.
Because I'm so wise.
Okay, so again, head over to Liam's channel, watch part 1 of the video. It's definitely a little bit more of an overview, and go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment on his video and channel and my video and channel. We love you so much.
I love you too.
We are open to direct messages on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you need. Our @names and accounts will be below.
Yep.
Have a beautiful day, my beautiful subscribers. But what was I talking about? Penis?
Insecurities.
And why I get triggered?
Yeah, sorry, did you just switch?
I don't know.
Toke's being really distracting over here.
I'm so itchy.
The bugs, too.
Oh yeah, safety plans. Okay, I'm gonna say, hey, what's up, you guys? Yes, okay?
Okay. So you want me to do it with you?
Yeah.
Everything?
Just the clap
Oh, okay.
and the yes.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
Yes.
Good job. First try.